Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again. If you didn't make the call, you can watch it now recorded as promised. On this call, we had Wendy Clerges with the Hotel Association. We had Gisela Marti with the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. And we also had Ceci Velasco with the Ocean Drive Association. By the way, Ceci now has Ceci on the Beach on Facebook. If you're not watching her every Thursday at 7, do so now. Today's call, amazing information. Great positive information. There's going to be a job fair, not only tomorrow, but in future weeks, sponsored by the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, as well as the Hotel Association. There's going to be information on Food and Wine Festival, spring break, how the hotels are trending, the positive outlook for the airlines and the hotels, vaccination passports, a bunch of information that you definitely want to be part of. So if you have 40 minutes, join us now. Hello and welcome to the SFCA podcast. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho and everywhere in between. Miami is a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us. 30 right now. Welcome, everyone, for our monthly call. We've been doing this since May. For those of you who just joined us, hopefully this will be one of many calls that you will join us. And I'm joined by a lovely group of ladies. We have Gisela Marti, Vice President of Marketing for the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. We have Ceci Velasco, Executive Director of Ocean Drive Association. We also have Wendy Clerges back from a long hiatus. I'm sure she's got a lot to report. Wendy's a Chief Executive Officer and President of the Greater Miami and Beaches Hotel Association. And we also have, as I mentioned before, Ceci. She's the Executive Director of the Ocean Drive Association and also star of the hit Facebook series called Ceci on the Beach at 7 o'clock on Thursdays. We'll hear more about that later. But for all of you that have joined us, thank you very much. I know you've got a lot of things to do today on this busy Tuesday. You've chosen to spend this hour with us, and we greatly appreciate it. We plan to make it, we ensure to make it inspiration, motivational, and educational. So with that, I'm going to transcend to Gisela Marti for all the stats and specs on what's been going on in South Florida in the last 30 days or so. Gisela?
So thanks so much, Miguel. And again, it's really great to join these monthly conversations with you. But I think today, I'm super pleased to be sharing our virtual stage here with these two legendary ladies, Miss Ceci and Wendy. So it's great to be here and be part of this conversation. So let's kick things off. I just put together about like 10 slides for the group. And I just wanted to walk everybody through just some very high level stats. You know, obviously, it's important what happens at our airport. So this is just a quick preview of the last 30 days. And as you can see, you know, it's been really busy and it spiked this past weekend, but there were also spikes around President's Day weekend. So, and I know that many of our hotels felt those impacts. And with all of these, you know, numbers, so just for perspective and context, it's about 50% of where we were last year at this time. And if you recall, it was still a couple of weeks pre-pandemic. So, you know, and the last time I was here, I shared with all of you some of the great new carriers that have begun service. And just last week, you know, we welcomed JetBlue, and with an American also made a big announcement that they're adding service from new markets. So we continue to see this really expansion of service, not only in cities that airlines are planning, but you know, we're seeing it just in overall in attracting new carriers. So what does this mean? Now that last week began service at JetBlue, that means that our airport is really hosting 5 of the big 6 U.S. carriers in the U.S. The only one that we've got left is Alaska Airlines. They primarily serve in the western part of the U.S., but that's a really great story that even during this pandemic, you know, our airport has really attracted, you know, these really, you know, all these carriers. So that's really good news for all of us. So I just wanted to share a quick preview in terms of what the airlines are planning from a seat capacity. So when we look at the months of February through July, so you have in front of you, the airlines are planning about 13.3 million seats. And you can still see that more than half is still domestic. And then international, you have at the bottom of the chart, you kind of have how that composition is. So, they're, obviously planning most of the seats from the Caribbean, and then from South America, then Central America. And then Europe is the one that is probably going to be lagging. And then obviously Canada and some of the other small markets. So lots of good things. We follow this every month and we continue to see the number of seats growing. So the airlines continue to have, confidence in terms of for the market. And here you have a quick preview of how all of so the top part of the chart is, the hotel performance for the last 3 weeks. It's Jan 31st through Feb 13th. So you could see, this President's Day weekend really impacted with almost, 59% occupancy. So we kind of heard that story from many of our hotels that weekend, they did really well. And then January, you have an overall update of how all the different sub-markets performed. But, we continue to see kind of these high occupancies. When you look at all the markets, it's more than 50%, with just maybe 3 markets that are not at those marks. But, overall, we continue to be very pleased with those results. And then we wanted to share with the group, this just in from yesterday, actually, from STR. And it was a forecast that they put forward for the hotel industry for this year. So they continue, when we compared to the last forecast, which was in November, we see some improvements, and they're forecasting some improvements for the first quarter of the year. But overall, the number that we're very, very focused on is this demand number at the bottom, because this is really the room nights that are going to be coming to the destination. And we continue to see kind of quarter by quarter how that continues to ramp up. So, by the way, I know there's a lot of numbers here and everything. So Miguel, like we always do, we'll make sure to send you the presentation so everybody could just relax and follow on the presentation. And last time I was here, I just wanted to quickly remind the group that we still have about a dozen tourism recovery programs in market. They are all living within our Miami Shines campaign. And many of those are, part of, remote work and learn, meetings, partnering with OTAs like Expedia. But all of these programs, they are developed with specific goals in mind, and those are to keep Miami travel top of mind, our destination top of mind amongst consumers while they're considering where to go. For those that are traveling, we are reminding them to do so safely and responsibly. And then finally, our aim is to really deliver value to our hotel partners and deliver hotel bookings. And that's really kind of the guiding, the main KPI. But one that I did want to mention that's in market and it's getting a lot of play is our weather-triggered retargeting program. So this is, and that's on the top of the screen, this is when temperatures are dipping, that, in certain markets, consumers will be targeted in terms of, with beautiful ads. And here we have a picture of our lifeguard stand, which is one of our top performing digital ads, by the way. So know that, we know that the weather is really terrible in most of the United States, and they're being, reminded of all the wonderful things that they could do here. And then here, just again, many other programs that are in market. The only one that I will mention is earlier this month, we launched our Health and Wellness Month, and this is where we're packaging, wellness offers, and obviously with our hotel offers. So in this current, I think, climate and environment, that is something that is resonating well. We're seeing some preliminary numbers, and that's again through Feb and March. And then finally, you've heard me talk a little bit about Miami Land. So this is really our campaign that celebrates all of our outdoor experiences, all of our beaches, our parks, and obviously our hotel offers. So I just wanted to remind us all that that program will continue. It lives on, even though it was a campaign that we launched last fall, but that continues to live on in all of our programs. And then I wanted to just share with you, just yesterday, actually, Kelly and Ryan, you know, this is a nationally syndicated talk show. It's actually the #1 talk show in the United States with almost 3 million viewers. They actually featured, you know, Miami Beach from, you know, and it was done virtually. We actually had also Michelle Bernstein doing some live cooking demonstrations. So, you know, this was incredible. This is the work of our communications and PR team. They were pitching them for several months. And so they're doing these virtual tours around the country, and we were the first ones out of the gate. So we were really, really pleased about that. So that just happened yesterday. Whoops. And then finally, I know that this is a bit further afield, but I did want to share with the group, you know, discussions with FIFA. As you know, these are very long-term planning programs. So just so that you're aware, there's actually a lot happening this year for FIFA, although it's happening in 26. So there's a couple of meetings, virtual meetings that are going to be happening this month, but know that they're actually going to select what are going to be the stadiums and the host cities by the end of this year. So our team is working really feverishly around this, because obviously this is a really critical, you know, program globally. So I just wanted to give the group an update on that. And then just finally, you know, you have my email contact here. If anybody on the call has any other further questions or needs additional information for their properties, please feel free to reach out to me. Happy to always hear from you. All right. So Miguel, I'll turn it over back to you.
Thank you. A few questions for you, Gisela. Have you heard anything on the cruise lines? The latest, any updates?
Yeah, so the last we've seen, and that was last week, some of the brands have postponed not serving through May. So the assumption is that they're going to resume in June, but we've seen, Miguel, that this has been a moving target for months. So we continue to follow it. For right now, it is June.
Yeah, that's very seasonal as well. So I don't think you're going to have too many cruises in June. Generally, probably the wishful thinking would probably be next October into November when the season revamps, unless it's a special cruises they've planned. I've heard yesterday on CNBC the CEO for Royal Caribbean, Richard Fain, had said that their booking into 21 and 22 are more than ever. So I guess people are really looking forward to cruising again.
Absolutely. And that was as a result of an earnings call, and some of the brands are going to have other earnings calls this week. So that's a great story, actually, not only for Royal, but for many of the other brands. So, you know, cruisers are really loyal, and they're getting ready to get back on a cruise. So more to follow on that.
Cool. And then how does the trend look, the booking trend look for the summer? The early summer and late summer months? Are we going to get some, do you think we're going to get some South American travelers in July, August pattern?
Well, one thing that this pandemic has, you know, reminded us all is that there's so much uncertainty, and everything that we knew is no, we can't go back to those, playbooks. So, you know, what we do see is, because of the introduction of the vaccine, we are seeing, because we're following many consumer sentiment surveys, and we're seeing kind of this timing as of June, July, that there is more there's more propensity for consumers to want to travel in the second half of the year. In terms of international, American it has continued to service from Latin America and the Deep South. That hasn't stopped. I mean, that continues to be in market. Right now, we're being served by 28 markets. So the challenge there is obviously some of the travel restrictions with, like, Brazil, But I think, Miguel, it all goes back and ties back to vaccine, that entire distribution. That is what's critical. So we have to continue to follow that closely because there's a direct correlation to that, to travel.
I know they're ramping up all the vaccines as well. So hopefully we will see they say this is going to become the roaring 20s once again, where tourism is going to be at the forefront, and so will South Florida because everybody else is closed for the most part. Before we see if I also mentioned, before we move on to Wendy, I do have a few mentions for our members. We will begin, and I want to touch base with Gisela as well as Ceci and Wendy after this. But the board has decided to do a virtual training program. So, and these are going to be completely free of charge. We're going to hire some renowned speakers to train and educate and inspire many people on a virtual basis. That'll start in March. So I'll reach out to you guys regarding that. And a lot of hotel postings. We've been putting them up on our Facebook page as well as via email individually to our concierge members. Not only concierge positions, but all hotel positions. I've seen almost, I think, every major hotel is advertising. I know tomorrow is a day for many job fairs on the 24th. There's a few in the morning. There's a few in the afternoon. Check out our Facebook page. You'll get all the information on that. So that's a good thing. It's becoming an employees market once again. Hopefully it'll continue and move forward. And also, I don't know if any of you want to touch base on this idea of vaccine passports. I don't know if any of you have any further information that you want to touch base on. I didn't have that in the question list, but it just came up as a last minute thing. Ladies, any of you want to comment on it or have any further information? Apparently, they're going to require vaccine passports throughout the United States, and it's an electronic passport noting that you've actually gotten vaccinated in order for you either A, to board an air carrier, B, take a cruise. I find it a bit intrusive. I mean, I think the vaccine is your choice, not something that's mandated for you to enjoy travel. What are your thoughts on it?
I think, it's passport, but yet it's for domestic travel, right? For
all travel, domestic, international. I know it's big in Europe now, and in the UK, I think they've already started it, and it's coming stateside soon. And I guess they just want to ensure that everybody's vaccinated. But there's people that can't be vaccinated. You can't have a live virus in your butt, not by your choice, but by your medical condition. So are they exonerated? How does that work? I'm sure there's a lot more discussion going on, but I didn't know if you heard anything about it.
I haven't heard anything about it, but I think some things like this you have to really talk about and discuss, and because it's kind of, I agree with what you're saying, Miguel. It's kind of fishy.
I have a question. Is it a speed pass? Is it a speed pass like at Disney that just gets you to the front of the line, but you're not blocked from going? Or like the passport, it's a quick pass to get through TSA because you've been pre-authorized, but it doesn't stop you from getting in line and going through the normal route. I think there's a precedent for that type of thing. It's unfortunate that some people can't afford to do the TSA pass, or because of their jobs or whatever, they can't really go through that. Or even at Disney, there's always people that aren't able to take advantage of those benefits, but I don't know why you would not have that benefit if you're able to, from my perspective.
Mm-hmm. But again, I don't know if it's a speed pass, but the way I read into it was that you needed to be vaccinated in order to board said carriers, whether it be air carriers or ships. You would have to be vaccinated in this electronic document. I guess it would be on your phone of some sort, would verify that you have been vaccinated. So what if you can't be vaccinated? Are you excluded, or do you go to the end of the line? I think you're excluded altogether.
That was my question. And I don't think I think that's really prohibitive. And you're right. There are people that can't get vaccinated, and there's a manipulative of that system too. How many people who have service animals are not really, have the service animal, right? Because they've just manipulated the system and they got the certification and everything. So it's really tough for something like that.
True. Okay. Interesting. I guess there can be more information on that. Wendy, how are the hotels doing? I hear any update from our GMs. I know that some hotels remain closed in the South Florida area. Give us some insight.
We're doing definitely so much better. And when Gisela was referring to the weather across the country. When you watch the news, it looks like a scary movie, like what's going on, with the ice storms, and look what's going on in Texas, and it's just crazy. So we have the most gorgeous weather. It's a great plus for us. Miami and Florida are the envy of everyone across the country, because there's a lot of the people that are traveling here, they're staying long-term, right? A lot of them, may have come down for a few days and decided to stay. A lot of the luxury hotels and the larger properties that have, larger suites and whatnot, they're really doing some long-term stays and working virtually with their business. So it's really, Miami's been really, it's definitely getting better with I think an average occupancy late 50s, 60%, right, Gisela, is what we're seeing, which is really very good. We should be very proud of that. And on the beach, I wanted to share with you a quote from our friend Jonathan Plutzik, who you all know, but for those of you who don't know Jonathan, you need to know Jonathan. He's the owner of the Betsy, and I just want to read to you, what he said. We're deeply fortunate to be in Miami Beach. Is there a better, more attractive destination in the hospitality world than ours right now? I think not. I love that. I think not. We will have an imperfect but surprisingly strong high season, and it may be longer than tradition, perhaps well into May, with the pandemic still being very much an issue in the country. More uncertainty is the summer. Will international borders be open or closed? We are critically important international destination. We will retain some Americans who will choose to travel only domestically in the summer. That will be weighed against the lost international traveler in the summer months. So, basically, international is important to us. The cruise industry is important to us. And, I got something from Dan Normandin, the general manager of the Four Seasons downtown. Weekends are busy with favorable weather spurring last-minute traffic from Florida and New York primarily. Midweek remains softer with the absence of cruise and corporate, but definitely getting better, as you can see. I wanted to share with you another thing. Oh, and then we've got, the 8-week spring break coming up, starting, as you all know. I know Ceci and we've been in meetings, and it's going to be, 8 weeks. So, but spring break, while it brings all sorts of different elements, right? People that come down and they want to party. And then you also have families coming down with the kids that are out of school. So all the hotels are really benefiting that on the beach, including, your downtown Brickell too. I think they're seeing some increase with spring break, and you obviously, a lot of the hotels are doing, the weddings are back. A lot of weddings that were postponed are back, and actually some large Indian weddings are coming to some of our larger properties, which is very interesting. And I mentioned weddings because when I was in catering at the Biltmore in the Grand Bay and working with Miguel, and back in the day, a wedding is not just an event, as you all know. A wedding can book the entire hotel, and they can have everything there: the rehearsal dinner, the wedding, and the brunch. Right, so it's very, very good. Very, very good revenue, and also great publicity too as well. So we're excited about that. We are, one of the things that we are working on very closely. We're very happy to see that the Mayor Daniela Cava-Levine and the County Commission voted to support and urge the state to have our hotel and restaurant employees be given top priority for vaccinations. So we were very excited about that. We think it's very important that our frontline workers be vaccinated, in particular the housekeepers and the bellmen and women, people that go into the room. So we're now working with our partners at the state level to see if we can get that announcement, Miguel. That would be a big party, big celebration for us to have that happen. So all of that helps bring business to Miami and keep business and instill the confidence that we're doing the right thing. And I also want to share what I love that the CVB is doing, besides all the wonderful things Gisela talked about, is the Destination Pledge. I think it's really a great, if you're online, look at the GMCVB Destination Pledge. It's really a great, what do we want to call it, program, right? That's what started in the beginning, pretty much. and they keep adding hotel videos, and it's basically kind of like Zika Pledge, only blown up. They have hotel videos of what the hotels are doing, what the restaurants are doing, what the convention center is doing. And I think, we know everything, right, that's going on in our industry, but you got to realize most of the people that come here have no clue. So it's really a great initiative. And I think that we're going to actually talk more about that with our government officials so that they understand where we're at and what we're doing. And I think we're the best destination in the world.
Oh, definitely. I mean, everybody else is closed. They're all coming here. And if
And some of them are moving here. A lot of people are moving here.
True.
You saw the offices, Blackstone, Goldman Sachs. All these
Blackstone's
offices
over at the Miami
down.
Brightline station. They took up all that space. And then you've got a lot of the financial institutions that are working. And I know Mayor Suarez is eagerly trying to get all the San Francisco, California-based
he's on it. He's on
businesses over
Twitter.
This way.
Absolutely.
I think over in Mana is involved as well in the Wynwood district. They're trying to get a lot of the companies to come here and make South Florida home base.
And the mayors I think it's great that the mayors are all getting along. And I think, I just think they should. We have so many municipalities here, and it's really making a big difference too. It's really fun. It's great to see them all together and posting on social media and everything. So, we've just got to get through, we got to get the meetings back, as we got to get the cruise industry back, and the meetings and the corporate events. You saw Ultra did announce 2022, which will be great. A lot of things will be coming in 2022 too. So 2022 too.
Now, question regarding, and that was one of my questions regarding meetings and events. Have you seen any bookings for Q3, Q4 later in the year? And that's still a moving target?
Still a moving target, because it's not like the big corporate, meetings. So, so there are some small meetings booked, and also for next year, it's starting like in 2022, right? Giselle was saying we've got some business on the books, but until that whole corporate mandate travel ban is lifted, but I think Miami has an advantage to all the other cities with the corporate meetings, because we have so many corporations here that can send business our way.
True. Okay. Well, thank you very much for the update, Wendy. Ceci,
thank you.
Are you there? You popped in, popped out.
I'm here.
There you go. You
Here I
popped
am.
back in again. There we go. How is the? I know Wendy had mentioned it to you. 8 weeks of spring break of pure joy. How's that coming along?
So, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, good. So, it's a phenomenon. Last year we were completely closed for the most part. The one thing that we know for sure that was going to happen is it was going to get cold in the north. So, and then part of that is people were used to working from home remotely. They had to. So we are seeing that people are now desperate to come down south where it's nice and warm. It's snowing. It's incredibly cold. It's even snowing in Texas. So we know that there's an influx of people that are coming, and they're coming for a longer period of time. They're tired of being cooped up. We are seeing a lot of local travelers coming in from the surrounding counties and areas. So they're driving over. They are enjoying the beach. They are enjoying being here on Miami Beach. We do have, like Wendy said, we have, it's a combination of all kinds of different tourists. There are local tourists that are driving over. There are people coming over with their laptops, and they're staying a lot longer, right? The air travel is quite affordable, and they want to get out of their homes. So we're seeing people with families. We're seeing people who are working remotely and staying, they would maybe normally come for 1 week. They're staying for 3 weeks. They're bringing their families. They're able to open their laptops. They're able to work. They're able to do, why not just shift over and make this your home base? So we are also seeing hotels that are accommodating work spaces, so you can get out of your room, but you have a workspace within the hotel, and they're accommodating that as well. We're seeing a lot of people on the street. South Beach has undergone huge changes in transportation, traffic, parking, etc. So we're looking at 8 weeks of people out on the street, and then rolling right into May and the Air and Sea Show, South Beach Wine and Food Festival, and we are really expecting this to continue throughout the summer. I know that summer is hot down here and it's warmer up north, and the usual trend is that they stay home because it's nicer, but people have cabin fever. They have not gotten on their vacations, and they are coming on their vacation. Whether it's June, July, or August, they're still coming. They have, put aside the money for it. They have psychologically been prepared for their annual vacation, and they're going to make it up sometime. I don't think they're going to wait a whole nother year to do that. So I'm looking forward to the cruise liners, because those people come and stay in our hotels. They shop, they're around.
True.
South Beach is different right now because of Washington Avenue has changed significantly. Part of it is only one lane of traffic, and then they have, the bike lane, and then they have the parking that is differently configured. Ocean Drive is closed to vehicular traffic, and I don't see it reopening anytime soon. We see a much more relaxed environment. The pedestrian area is open, and people are enjoying themselves. We have bicyclists, we have walkers, we have tours that are actually able to see the building. We have less exhaust, right, from cars. So we see people really enjoying the fact that Ocean Drive is closed to vehicular traffic. Now, that comes with some challenges. For the concierges, I will say they're probably hearing from hotels that they need a way to get their guests from one point to another with all of that luggage.
Correct.
They're also hearing from ADA. How do I get to the hotel in the middle of the block? The hotels on the corners don't have as much of a problem because they can get down the side street. It's the middle of the block. So we're not looking at reopening to vehicular traffic just because of that. We're looking for some very creative and dynamic solutions. There's a lot of congestion on Collins. That needs to be addressed. The city has Bernard Siskovich as a long-term urban planner with a team of amazing global thinkers that are really going to see a new renaissance of South Beach one way or the other. Ocean Drive will eventually go through a $20 million renovation. What they're talking about is tabletopping it, making it a plaza. They're talking about retractable bollards. I mean, it's time, right? It's time to take this to that level by getting rid of the street the way we know it. And this is the impetus to do it. So embrace change. And I think people will come. Ocean Drive has always been the poster child for South Florida. It's the cover of everything. There's so much more to do in South Florida and Miami-Dade. We've got beautiful things happening. The GMCBB is really talking about all the outdoor things that are happening, and the zoo and the ballets, and taking the theater outside. Lincoln Road did a wonderful job with the 7 Deadly Sins and taking it outside. So I love the innovation of creative thinkers that they're not doing it just for the right now. It's going to be for the long time. And I think we're going to see some very expanded, wonderful experiences.
I know that sound. You hear that background sound? I know who that is. Okay. Question for you, Ceci. When does the spring break officially start?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Something happened to my audio.
When does spring break officially start?
Oh, so we don't call it spring break, right? Because we realized a few years ago that these aren't just college kids. This happens to be springtime where a lot of younger people come out, but it's not particularly college kids that are coming. That is part of it. But there's a whole phenomenon of people coming out, younger people coming out because it's springtime. So, and also colleges have expanded their spring break and have expanded, so they're not duplicating. So they're trying their best to spread it out. But, always the first weekend of March. That's when we see it. It's gone from 3 weeks to 5 weeks to 6 weeks to now 8 weeks.
And we hear at we were told, I think maybe somebody needs to mute that's watching, right? Okay. We did hear that the last weekend in March it's the most intense, and I was kind of I was concerned about it because that's also the Miami-Dade County Public Schools break is that time as well, which we know high school kids, come over to the beach too. So just FYI,
That's one of the reasons it happens to be one of the hot spots. The second week of March, the first week isn't really a problem, but that's when it starts. The second week of March is a huge issue. And then you're right, the last week of March, when the local schools get out is when you have all these people who have access, because all it is a quick, they borrow their parents' cars and they just come out, and we have a lot more limited parking. So this is really catering to the hotel guests because of the limited amount of parking that we have now.
Okay. And the police have done an amazing job. Of the times I've been on the beach, almost every other block, and I'm not talking one or two officers, there's like 5 or 6. They have the paddy wagons, they have the cars, the cruisers, the bikes, they've got everything. They're ready. They're ready for anything and everything.
We have
I
a
think
lot
it's
of
more of a
support from the
deterrent.
county mayor.
Good.
It is part of the county.
And I
since
did
we
see
have
some
so
Metro
many
Dade
people coming
police as
over
well.
from the rest of the county, we have a huge support from the county mayor. So that's been a change in what has happened lately. Our new mayor of the county has been collaborating with our local police department with the understanding that a big part of the problem are all the cars that are coming over from outside of Miami Beach.
Correct. So they should also take responsibility. Perfect. Talk to us about the Wine and Food Festival. How is it going to be different this year than years past? Everything is outdoors or indoor-outdoor mix?
They have plans.
Yeah.
I've seen the plans. I somebody else can maybe answer better than that. I think the GMCBB.
So we've been in close touch with them. In fact, we had a call with them on Friday. So we're one of the sponsors of their event, and everything is moving forward. Their goal is to have everything outdoors, and they're looking at, they're aiming for 50% of the number of participants that have participated in the past. So, they've in essence developed events with all social distancing protocols. So that's been very important for them. But those plans are underway and they're moving forward.
Nice.
It's the third weekend of May, right?
Yeah.
It's the third weekend of May, and then following that is the RNC show. We probably won't see as many, groups of people driving over, but certainly very expected that our hotels are all going to be full. And we are really looking forward to working very closely with them. I know they're working with Lincoln Road, and so they're having some kind of festival market, artisanal food markets. I've been there. It's really amazing. It really contributes to the dynamic of what's going on. And Lee Schrager is doing such a nice job localizing South Beach food and wine, which I have to tell you, in the past, they've said it's so global and they really aren't reaching out to the locals as much. So this brings it home. And I love that they're embracing that.
I think it's going to be fabulous because it's not going to be as crowded. I know, you know what I mean? Burger Bash I'm only 5'1.5", and I got to tell you, when I go to Burger Bash, I have to go early and just get my little table and.
Oh boy. So,
and then we have the RNC. We have the RNC, and the plans are full on for that. They've presented to the city. They're getting their permit. It's going to be everybody's being very cautious. And I think the event planners are doing an excellent job going above and beyond to make sure that they can have a festival, to make sure that, it's successful, but also to make sure that the public health is priority. The plans are amazing, but it's going to be a full-on RNC show, and you'll see it more spread out than it was before. So it's going to look bigger, but it's just being, much more spread out.
Nice. Thank you to Stephanie. She provided us with a link to NBC News regarding the mandated vaccination. I will share that with everyone in the notes. And Anna, thank you very much for your input. IATA, the International Travel Agency Association, is working on the travel pass that will be in effect, I guess, sooner than later. Any questions from the audience regard to the panelists directly? You can chat now or forever hold your peace. I know we're running a little early on time.
Can I will
Please.
Tell you that I'm going to touch on something that I think one of the two ladies had mentioned earlier. So there is still economic recovery. There still are packages. I know that, the county still is providing a lot of support and services. So I wouldn't mark that out. We haven't shifted completely over to normal, and there is no new normal. I think it's a new world that we're dealing with, but the government is still providing a lot of small businesses, employees, a lot of grants, funding, loan programs. So I'm just want to get that out there. That is not over. That still continues to help and support our industry.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
thank
we'll
you.
see more of that because of the new administration too, so which is good, which is really
Right.
good.
I'm actually on the Economic Recovery Task Force for the county. We're meeting this Thursday, and the new mayor is coming to meet with us because she is really picking up the ball and ensuring that the economics are there to support all of the people that are out there working in our industry.
Perfect. We do have a question from an attendee who chose to remain anonymous. And I guess this would be either, I assume for Wendy, there's a shortage in housekeeping and front desk and frontline employees. How are hotels dealing with this situation?
So good timing on that. I was actually going to just mention we actually have a call in about an hour where we're planning a job fair. So with the CBB, along with the CBB, and so we'll have more on that, and you'll see it'll be a Miami-Dade County job fair.
Oh, nice. So all the hotels will participate in.
We have a call today to talk about logistics, whether it can be part virtual, live, everything. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, this has become, for the last few weeks, I've been hearing as the hotels have been getting more busy, they need staff, and restaurants, a lot of, so I'm looking forward to, you'll hear more about that in the next few days.
Perfect. And then Delia requested more information on the travel vaccine, which we'll provide in the next conference call. Anyone else have any questions before we close it up? Going once, going twice. Okay, let me give you my closing remarks. As you know, hotels are trending back. Now we're needing the employees back, whether it be housekeeping, front desk, food and beverage, restaurants, concierge, whatever the case may be. They're in need for employees. So those that are willing and able to come back to work, there's various job fairs going on, particularly tomorrow, and one is being planned by the GMCVB along with the Hotel Association. So that's great news. Miami has become the nucleus of all things tourism. If you read if you see anything, there is not a city in the United States, probably except for Hawaii and the Caribbean, that are receiving the number of guests that we are. For one reason: 99% of the time there's the sun outside and warm weather, beautiful beaches, and the beautiful people. Of course, everybody wants to come to Miami. This is the beginning of the disruptive decade. For the next 10 years. We will completely transform into something else. So New York, Silicon Valley, San Francisco, and Chicago, watch out. We are going to be the new kids on the block, and we may become the new financial capital of the world. Who knows? So the roaring 20s are back in a different way, a good way. So let's make them count. Stay hungry, stay foolish, and never give up. And always mask up. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Be well. And Ceci and I wore the red for Love Week. Next month, it's green for St. Patty's Day. So we'll see you next month, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Have a
Great
great
seeing
rest
everybody.
of the week.
Likewise. Bye-bye. Hello, and welcome to the SFCA podcast. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho, and everywhere in between. Miami's a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us.